Please be advised that this video is for the sole purpose of entertainment. Any views are purely my own, are subjective and may not necessarily be true. I do, however, do extensive research for all of my videos. All photos have been found on the public domain. I am using them under the fair use and fair dealing guidelines. I urge everybody to do their own research. Well, hello, it's Murky Meg here. It's Wednesday the 30th of October, and my oh my, hasn't there been a huge media frenzy at the moment. I had to do a video on this because I am so blown away. So, female MPs across the political spectrum have penned an open letter to Meghan backing her campaign against the media. 72 MPs signed the letter, to which Meghan was spearheaded by Halifax Labour MP Holly Lynch. The letter said that as women MPs of all political persuasions, the group wanted to stand against stories they said were often distasteful and misleading in a number of national newspapers across the UK. It continued, on occasions, stories and headlines have represented an invasion of your privacy and have sought to cast aspersions about your character without any good reason as far as we can see. Even more concerning still, we are calling out what can only be described as outdated colonial undertones to some of these stories. As women members of Parliament from all backgrounds, we stand with you in saying it cannot be allowed to go unchallenged. Well, isn't that a nice little letter wrapped up in a bow in preparation for her impending court case? I'd also like to note, for those of you not familiar, you might like to know that Sarah Latham, we all know that name, Harry and Meghan have employed her to be their right-hand woman, has quite the political pedigree under her belt. She served under New Labour, Tony Blair, the Obamas, and of course, the Clintons. I'm quite stunned at this response, and it's left me with quite a bizarre taste in my mouth, to be perfectly honest. And this word colonial undertones is bugging me. Is that kind of like similar to unconscious bias that Harry spouted? It's just buzzwords. I find it quite ironic that these MPs that are in a very privileged position themselves in an institution that goes back thousands of years are saying it's outdated. Members of Parliament, outdated. I'm struggling to kind of catch on to the concept of that one, to be perfectly honest. At the end of the day, power breeds power. We all know that, don't we? I'd also like anybody to point out where these stories are that actually attack her race. It's not about race. It's about the obscene taxpayer-funded wealth via marriage coming from somebody that doesn't really know what they're talking about. And I'm gobsmacked that these 72 women, that this is what they want to deal with in the middle of the biggest economic crisis that our country has faced apart from the world wars. We are at our knees. We are facing a snap general election in December, and Parliament is at deadlock. It's crisis time. Yet this is what you want to focus on. A letter to Meghan Markle. Now notice it was to her, not to Buckingham Palace, not to Prince Charles. It was addressed to Meghan Markle. I do apologise, it was addressed to Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex, at Clarence House. What's that now? Clarence House? She doesn't live at Clarence House. Why is this letter being addressed to Clarence House? Last time we heard, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's offices were at Buckingham Palace, not Clarence House, where Charles's house is. That's Charles's house. Why are they addressing it to Clarence House? I'm stunned. This is clearly a misuse and abuse of power by MPs at the expense of the taxpayers. Wrong move for the MPs, I think, that have actually done this. Meghan Markle is part of the royal family, and as such, she's above politics. Can you imagine another member of the royal family behaving in such a way? Now, she may not have had anything to do with this. It was released on Twitter by the MP herself that the letter came from. So she might have not wanted this in the public domain, but it's out there now. And ultimately, she's got to respond in a very smart way because royals cannot be involved with politics. Yet she has responded, and Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, called Holly Lynch this morning to say thank you. So she's putting it out again. She's playing the media. This is politicians standing up and saying this is wrong. But by doing that, they are implicating themselves in the royal household. And yet again, it just shows you that MPs are not understanding how the British public feel. We are so fed up of these two, with their hypocrisy, with the gluttonous spending, the breaking of the royal protocols, with her pushing in front of Harry to be the first to shake hands, the hugs, the complete media onslaught between her and her dad, the releasing of the select puff pieces, I'll go on to that later. Do they not realise that this is manipulation of the media on both sides? And I'm actually quite disgusted that 72 elected MPs think that this is a good use of their state-funded time while the country is in crisis. And the result is more fuel onto the fire, and it gives her adequate material for the court case. MPs should not be getting involved in this without all the facts. Thank God my own MP was not on that list. Otherwise, I'd be writing to her if I'm perfectly honest. Are these MPs aware that Harry and Meghan have employed a very ruthless PR company to put out 5 to 7 puff pieces a day in the media? Do they know that, in fact, she fed tidbits and gossip directly to the tabloids? Do they know this? Are they aware that the media is being manipulated by a very ruthless PR company? Is that playing fair? Do they even care? But no, they just put their size 10s in to a big hole and made it even bigger. As a woman, I can't support somebody's advantaged with title and obscene taxpayer-funded money and wealth via marriage, claiming to speak on mine and my fellow women's behalf. Those resources would be better directed to ordinary working women. I would expect that working female MPs would agree, surely, but silly me, they're only concerned with their status in politics. Whoever wrote this letter needs a lesson in basic letter etiquette. If you address a letter, "Dear Madam," you should always finalise it as yours faithfully, not sincerely. It's a rookie error, but one that surely an elected member of Parliament should have a basic understanding in. I think this has the possibility to be worse than Charles and the Diana divorce drama. The press is reporting on the truth about Meghan and Harry, and they just can't stand it, to be perfectly honest. The truth isn't bullying. Criticism isn't bullying. If they hadn't been so outspoken, preaching and show their restraint in their spending, the general public may have kept the love that they had towards them at their wedding. So are these 72 MPs saying that they approve of Meghan and her antics, such as her wasteful spending, her breaking of protocols, her use of multiple ruthless PR firms paid for by their own charities' donations, and all the mystery surrounding the baby and the birth? I think that they may have opened a can of worms. It may have been better if these MPs had actually addressed this letter about all women in the public eye. But what they fail to understand is that Meghan herself is the one that has been generating all of the hype. It's been confirmed by multiple people that she is the one that tips off people, feeds these little tidbits and gossips to gain more attention. Attention is attention is attention is attention. All good attention, bad attention is attention to Meghan. So this is just blown my mind. But I'm curious about what you all think. What do you all think about this letter from our MPs? Do you think Meghan actually knew about it? Do you think she'd want this in the public eye? Do you think it is a complete waste of our MPs' time? And do you think that plenty of other people out there get heat? Why is she being singled out as the Messiah? My final point is quite a strong one, because I feel that if these 72 MPs had any respect for the British public and their constituents, they would rewrite this letter on plain letterhead and not parliamentary letterhead. Unfortunately, this sounds like a move to silence freedom of speech, so no one will be able to comment on her poor choices and ridiculous behaviour anymore. As always, I'm interested in what you all think. Do you think that these 72 women have made an error, or do you think they have every right to stand up and back one of our royal family members? And how do you think Meghan is actually feeling about this? Will she be clapping with glee or hanging her head in shame? Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, hit subscribe and hit that notification bell. I'd like to thank everyone who has donated to my channel. It's because of your kind generosity which enables me to release worthy and interesting contents. So I say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Once again, thank you for watching and I'll see you very soon.